Hi, I'm just about to answer some questions from the AML family that were posted on Facebook. I'm just looking through them now. We'll start with, what does someone do for fun, like hobby, or do they like certain TV shows? What made them happy before they arrived at Kensington? And their name is Doreen Bollendorf Yoder Hoot, who asked this question. For me, I do look for things actively in the day to do for fun, just because my drug of choice is meth, so I'm not doing heroin. I feel like people who are doing heroin typically are not at off, or they're not really like thinking about doing something for fun. But me, I'm like kind of just running around, you know, with my head cut off, trying to find something to do. So I haven't really done much for fun yet, but I was hoping to find somewhere to swim that doesn't have the trash everywhere, so that might have to be like Devil's Pool. I don't really know much about Philly because I grew up in the suburbs, so I'm always asking around like where certain things are, or like entertainment activities, but honestly most of entertainment has to be free because I don't have the money to spend doing that. But yeah, I like to take walks. I've gone fishing a few times. But it's just hard to find people who want to do things genuinely for fun, just because drugs are such a big thing on everyone's mind, or making money. What I did before to be happy, I don't remember the last time I was genuinely happy. It's been a really long time. Just because I'm always outside of myself, I like to distract a lot. I think certain things will make me happy, but they really don't. Like shopping and superficial things used to make me happy, I thought, but I was just wasting time and distracting myself from the genuine things in life. I think like being with my dad and being with my friends that are more important than just looking in the mirror all day. So I do go skiing for happiness. My dad, when we were younger, he made it a point to make it a family sport to become skiers. So we had a house at Elk Mountain, which my mom recently sold, but I love to ski. What did you imagine your future to look like as a child? And this is by Amber Scott. I'm gonna just read them in parts. What did you imagine your future to look like as a child? As a child, I think I'm pretty sure I wanted to be a veterinarian or a fashion designer. I never pictured my life to be robbed by drugs, obviously. My uncle, my dad's brother, has been a drug addict since he was 15, so I did have a glimpse of that. But I was still very sheltered as a child and didn't know much about drugs at all, and really had no idea until the age of like 20 what certain drugs were. What do you imagine your future to look like now? I try to be positive, but I imagine my future pretty bleak, to be honest. Yeah, I have accepted the fact of dying, but accepted the fact of, yeah.
You're doing great, love.
Do you remember a time in your life when you felt happy? Do you think you could possibly get back to that? I think happiness would depend. Genuine happiness would depend a lot on me being clean, and right now I just don't know what that would take, whether it's losing a limb from my type 1 diabetes, whether it's something tragic that happens to someone around me, I don't know, but I'm a very headstrong person, and I know with everything else in my life I've needed to learn the hard way, so that's very terrifying. And her final question was, there a time you lost hope and were able to find it again? Maybe times throughout my eating disorder when I thought I was never going to eat again in the beginning, and then I finally had my first meal. That was hopeful, you know. But like I said, I'm a very to myself person, so I don't express a lot of my feelings, and I don't even like to sit down and think for myself. I like to just be, you know, buzzing around, and I never really think about these deep topics because they're, I don't know, they're painful to think about and hard to think through. affect you if you were to lose limbs or the ability to walk due to chemicals and the drugs that are today? Well, as a type 1 diabetic, I've been warned just with type 1 diabetes alone, the percentage of people who lose limbs, which is high already. So doing the drugs is probably putting me at a much greater risk of any of those things. And I'm aware of that. Since I've come down here the past month, I have noticed a lot of trank marks on my body, and which I never had before. And I kind of just look past them every day, you know, just pretend like they're not there. But I think losing a limb would be quite tragic to me, and that's maybe what it would take for me to get clean. Who knows? By Annette Jones. When do you see your life in addiction stopping? I have no idea. I always try to convince myself that my addiction is helping me versus hurting me, besides the fact that it's enabling me from going home since my parents just are demanding I go to rehab. I always convince myself that meth is okay because it makes me productive, it makes me energetic, it wakes me up, it makes me better. So I don't know, I have to accept the fact that I'm not functional on drugs, I think, and that it's hurting me more than helping me, which I don't know when that will be. Who's the most memorable person you've met while you've been out here? I'm not really sure about that one. I've met a lot of memorable, good people, honestly. Like, you think people in Kensington are just scary or just, you know, violent, or you don't know, but I've honestly met some of the nicest, most genuine, helpful, loving people out here. If you had one choice, would you choose 36 days in rehab or 365 days in jail? Well, in my eating disorder clinic, I literally one time ran away from Arizona, and they asked me, do you want to go to jail or back to rehab? And I said jail. So, I don't know, but I think at this point I would choose rehab. Have you ever thought about what you would do if all illegal drug sales were shut down in Kensington? What would your plan B be? There's a lot of questions in this one. Have you ever thought about what you would do if all illegal drug sales were shut down in Kensington? My first thought would be to panic. I would have no idea what to do. I would be scared because I knew that I'm dependent on it and would not wake up the next day if I didn't have it physically, because it's meth. So I would just go hunting for it, I guess. If all the money you spent on your addiction was to be returned to you, what would you do with it? Not involving drugs. I haven't really spent much on my addiction at this point, just because I'm young and my addiction doesn't cost very much for me personally, but it was all returned to me. I'm not really sure, because I don't drive. You know, yeah, either that I would save it, or I would get like a vehicle that doesn't require a driver's license, like a moped. I really want one of those. And a phone, because mine was stolen.
And what are your short-term goals now, love?
To find a way to support myself without depending on my boyfriend who treats me like shit. To find housing that's more dependable, like a shelter before the winter. And I would say to work on the things that are holding me back from getting the real help I need.
So previously we did a pregnancy test. Can you tell us about the pregnancy test and why you took the pregnancy test?
I took the pregnancy test because I haven't had my menstrual period in a few months. I've been feeling really tired. My legs are extremely swollen. Just having all the symptoms of possible pregnancy. I've been pregnant twice before and caught it early. within 5 months, 7 months. So I thought I knew, like, you know, how my body felt. Thankfully, it was negative because I have a lot of other shit going on, plus a lot of bad things going on in my body that would affect the baby. But I was definitely very nervous about this because I'm just not in the stage of my life to take care of a child, and I wouldn't want to do that to a child either.
What message do you have for your friends and your family?
I love them.
Anything else?
That I'm not choosing this.
What are your fears? What are you afraid of?
At this point, I'm not afraid of much except for just not feeling loved, and that's what they're making me feel.
This one is to take us home, my love. If you had 3 wishes in this world, what would your 3 wishes be?
That my dad didn't have Alzheimer's.
Let it out, dear. Right? Let it out.
That my mom loved me. And that I wasn't so lazy without needing a drug.
And dear, we wrapping up now. I really appreciate you so much for being courageous. It takes a lot to do these interviews, and I appreciate you for stepping up, for being, you know, the strength for our other brothers and sisters who don't have the strength. And I pray that your story, your message resonate with somebody, and they won't come down this road. So before we take flight, there are a lot of people in this world who judge people who struggle with drug addiction. What's your message for the world?
That drugs don't make someone a bad, doing drugs doesn't make someone a bad person. It makes them a person who needs to seek something else out to feel okay. A lot of drug addicts I've met self-medicate for things they didn't even know they had. I think the best way to support someone with drug addiction is just to be patient and non-judgmental, because that's really all we need.
Thank you so much, dear. AML family, keep our lovely sister in your prayers. And remember, don't be bitter, be better. Until next time, we out there. Peace out.